That's right. It's the La Femme Film Festival 2021. Oh my goodness. Are we doing it really big this year? It's a hybrid of sorts, meaning that it is all happening at the LA Live Regal Cinema 14 in Los Angeles next to Staples Center, and online. It's a virtual event or online event like none other all around the world. Share it with anyone and everyone. They can participate this year. And today, we're super excited to interview some filmmakers from some of the films that I can guarantee you are going to make a dent in people's lives and or entertainment value. Because, let's face it, who doesn't want to be entertained? So having said that, you need to get your tickets right now for the virtual event of the year. It is all the films, all the entertainment. We're going to be talking to some of the filmmakers just up around the corner. But first, let's see a little glimpse into what you can expect coming up with La Femme Film Festival 2021.
In the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Because what you're seeing on television right now is history in terms of where decisions are being made today.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
What are recommendations for packaging?
Getting to the right person at the right time, and you have the right piece of the package that they want to see.
And be able to adjust, because the plan will never execute exactly as you plan it.
If you set aside money for social media, for a publicist, for marketing, things like that, and really you don't have to sit behind those dollars and you can have more control of your own release.
You can't go wrong. As for me, I knew that my episode was either going to be awesome or fine. That's the risk you take.
That's right. It is important to be awesome and fine. And I'll tell you somebody who's awesome and fine. Eva Justine is with us. Something has died in the forest, and you need to know about it, because if it's died, then that means, well, what's died? Or is that the kind of glimpse? You tell me, Eva. How's it going?
Hello from Australia.
Australia. Awesome. I'm so happy to talk to you. I have been wanting to go to Australia. The wildfires are thankfully all died down and everything's good, right?
Thankfully all died down. You'll have to come and visit. It's yeah.
I'm ready to. But you are, interestingly enough, are you flying in here, or are you going to be watching virtually like everybody else?
I would love to, but I think with COVID restrictions, it's a bit tricky. But had that not have been the case, I'd definitely be there. So I'll be watching, eating popcorn from the comfort of my bed.
Oh, how cool is that? But here's what I'm going to say right now. Something has died in the forest. This is a very interesting conversation. In the wake of World War II, living in a migrant camp in the Australian bush with her husband, the struggle to come to terms with their pregnancy as she relives the trauma of losing her first child. Who are we talking about?
So the lead character in my film is called Alesha, and this, I guess the film itself is based on my grandparents. It's a fictional drama, but it's based on my grandparents who kind of traveled over from Ukraine to Australia after World War II and lived in a migrant camp. And the film itself, it's about a woman who has grown up in a kind of sheltered life in the outskirts of Ukraine. She's lost a child before she's arrived in Australia. And then in this kind of isolating, strange land of the migrant camp in Australia, has become pregnant again and kind of struggles to come to terms with the fact that she may have a baby and is fearful that she'll lose the child again.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And so what do you do with that?
You make a film and hope for the best.
Yeah.
No, the film is really, I made this film at the Victorian College of the Arts doing my master's in directing. And I thought if I get into this college, the graduate film, which is kind of the kind of the pinnacle of the course, is this film that I really wanted to make kind kind of in memory of my grandparents who I grew up with. And growing up with them, even though I grew up with them in Australia, I grew up speaking Ukrainian, and they would tell me all these amazing stories about Ukraine and kind of the travel over here, which was pretty harrowing at times and difficult for them to kind of understand where they'd arrived. There's actually I have to tell you this story. So my grandmother, who's passed away now, but she said when they were looking for where to go, they didn't know which country to travel to. They were kind of unsure. And there was a list of places. And my grandfather's reading the list, and Australia was on the list. And she said, "Oh, Australia. Sounds like Austria. We go to Australia," thinking it was like Austria. Kind of a bit further away.
Oh no.
Yes. But the film itself,
Southern Hemisphere, not the not the other side.
Not quite the same.
That's an adventurer though in here, huh?
Yeah, it was, and it was, I think, and people obviously, there's migrants all over the world that are trying to find home and find a safe space to settle in, and I think that was, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them having made that journey. So yeah, this film, it's to me, it's really about a woman coming to terms with trying to live and love again in a new world.
Well, you know what? I think you did it really well. Obviously, this is a fantastic addition to the many very curated films. I don't think people understand how many actually get submitted, and then actually those that actually get the final push. But something that's died in the forest is something to watch. Obviously, writing, directing, editing this, and doing almost everything on this particular film. Sometimes people don't understand the complexities. They think, it's a huge, do you usually let people know you don't do it all? Or do you sometimes say, I don't care if I do it all? Because I don't do it all, but you do.
I mean, I thought before I did my kind of master's in directing, I did a lot of theater and acting. And in this film, because I was kind of learning so many skills at university, I had a lot of support, I guess, to help me do it. But I think it's something that I'm really proud of, the fact that I got to, obviously I wrote it and then directed it, but even editing, I think, such a huge part of filmmaking. It's like you're kind of making the film again in the edit. So that was really important for me to I suppose be able to understand what the story would be with what we shot, and how to keep the core of what I wanted to say alive in that edit. So to me, I hope I always am a part of the edit in that way. I think it's I just find it a process that I really love, kind of getting that involved.
Well, it's nice when you can shoot and know what you're going to edit. I know a lot of good directors they shoot with that thought, like they know what they can use, they know what they're not going to use, instead of just, okay, try to put this together, So you minimize your amount of shots as well, because you know exactly what already, and you kind of catalog that as you go. But I will say this, if you had the ability to go with like an unlimited budget, what would you have incorporated, or what will you incorporate in the next film that you're like, okay,
I know the answer to this.
I
really wanted to do this, and then because of money, I actually wanted to shoot part of the film set in Ukraine and part of it set in Australia. I really wanted to shoot the Ukrainian part in Ukraine. There's amazing locations that I actually went to Ukraine to kind of scout before the film, just to get a bit of a feeling of what it would be like, and how to, I guess, recapture that in Australia if I wasn't able to shoot there. But I've written a feature version of it now, and my dream 100% would be to try and shoot that part in Ukraine. That would be a dream come true.
Well, you can always have re-edits. I'm just saying. So somebody's got to know somebody. So somebody's got to share this somewhere. Look, I'm excited for you. I am, and I can't wait to see it as well. I'm going to be sitting probably on my popcorn too. And it's good to see that we can have an interconnected world. I'm glad you're talking from Australia, so people can participate this year. Unlike most times, right? You usually have festivals, and sometimes you don't have people that can, they have to be in the person, like New York or maybe London, but now you can be interconnected. How cool is that?
It's so good. And I'm really excited to see the films and meet the other. I just feel like I'm going to get such a chance to meet so many people from around the world by being involved in this. So it's really exciting. So, yeah. Well,
I'm glad that you can join us this year. Looking forward to the next one. So we hope that you keep pushing forward and you keep getting the stuff that you need done. All right. Thank you for telling the story as well. I can't wait to see the misery of it all. And then hopefully I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm like, oh,
thanks so much, Aaron. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after this. That's right. We are here with Melissa Jo Peltier and also the beautiful little one, which obviously needs to be featured. Oh, my goodness.
And she's a supermodel.
I could tell. She is very calm in all of this.
Oh, my God. She's the calmest dog that ever lived.
Which is kind of important. You brought up a very interesting featured documentary passion project, which is kind of necessary to stay calm. This is called The Game Is Up, Disillusioned Trump Voters. This story is one of which, brought a lot of emotions up. I'm just going to say it that way. Sure. But the decision to make it into a film, where did you say, you know what, this needs to be done?
Well, I had this vision. Joe Walsh, who's in our film, I was early on in like mid to late 2017, I saw on his Twitter site that he was actually challenging some things that Trump does. And Joe was, Tea Party congressman, right-wing shock radio. But he was, little by little, he was saying, well, wait a minute, doesn't that mean X? He was asking questions. And it was sort of fun to watch in real time as he came around over that next year, and he suddenly said, I can't do this anymore. I can't support this guy anymore. And it was, again, watching it in real time, and it was so interesting to me. And I actually thought that, well, he's going to be like the harbinger of what so many other Republicans are going to do. And as it turned out, that didn't happen. But it did happen in the population, not, in politics.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, look, it is one of those things which I say, make sure you document everything, because you never know, somebody's going to want to spin things and people are always spinning things, but it's always important to kind of stick to what's happening, how it's happening. Obviously, when you did this and you went through the editing portion, did you kind of go like, oh man, it all needs to be there, but then you go, oh great, I gotta trace it down. What's that process to get that narrowed down to just the finite amount, because you got to keep the interest of so many.
Yeah, and it's 119 minutes, and I think we're actually going to cut a couple minutes out of it for a final version. But it's I think what happened was we were under the gun. We wanted to get it done by the election, which we couldn't do because we ran out of money, completely ran out of money. So we had to piecemeal our final post, our color correction and our mix and everything. We had to really do it in little 6-minute chunks.
Yeah.
But and because we shot in 4K, so this also, by the way, happened all through the lockdown. We shot 1 month of Joe Walsh, and then that was it. The rest of it was lockdown, so we had to figure out how to do it. And everything we did, this interview you're seeing right now, I did that in person because it was in New York, and we did it socially distanced with masks and stuff. But most of the stuff we shot remotely.
Okay.
And I would be on the other side of the screen, and the cameraman would put a little computer up next to the camera.
Right.
And I would talk to people through the screen.
Wow.
And I'd never done that before after having done this for a long time. And I thought, it'll never work, but it did. It actually worked.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it. Look, you're ready for, I think he's going to run again. So it's not like it's completely a situation which you're not going to, have a lot of shelf life for. But I will say, I think it was done at the right time. I mean, I could imagine, especially some of the shots, I'm looking at some of the aerial shots. It probably was easier to do aerial shots when everybody's inside and nobody's outside, right? So there's some benefits. Yeah. But let me ask you, obviously being in addition to all of our other great documentaries, why is it so important for you to be a documentarian? Because you're a type of documentarian which does it to where it holds the interest, and then you come away and you go, huh? And then like weeks later, you go, you know what? I remember this because I've done that with documentaries. I used to hate documentaries back in the day, but now on my show, the morning show on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM, I always draw from documentaries like yours. So what's that like when you say, see, they got the good information, the right information?
Well, I think, you know what it is? A lot of it's research, and it's finding the right people. It's finding people who tell compelling stories well. You know, it's you want people who really pop on camera and that people feel like they want to get to know more about as they talk on camera. That you like. You want people that you like. And, you know, it was important to me. This isn't just an anti-Trump documentary. This is about transformation. And this is about people who had the courage to change their minds when they got new information.
Right.
And it's also about the fact that I think a lot of liberals demonize people who voted for Trump. And they said that no forgiveness, none, you know, I don't care, you're a racist. But most of these people had very, very different, and to them, compelling reasons to vote for Trump. For instance, Chris Gibb, the farmer, he had issues that were really pertinent to his world. That he thought, well, I guess this is what I have to do. And, you know, and then he sort of realized that he'd been kind of conned on that. But it took all of them some time, and they all had different turning points in how they changed their mind. And so, you know, I wanted people to know it wasn't a uniform thing, and you want to respect people's decisions, especially if they change their mind based on new information. If they get new information, they actually look at it, and as opposed to not even looking at it or considering all new information has to be fake because it doesn't align with my previous point of view.
Well, I would say documentaries kind of take the A, it takes a lot to do, and B, it is usually never popular on one side, but then if you go, hey, just take a look at it and see what you think, it gives a better perspective than not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I come out of television and television nonfiction for many, many years, and you know, you really couldn't put stuff in, you know, unless it was PBS, and even PBS has raised their standards. You couldn't really put stuff on TV that wasn't entertaining.
Right.
And plus, you had a limited amount of time and limited amount of researchers, especially limited amount of time. So you would end up doing things quite quickly. So, you know, you want to put the effort into the research and into the editing. Those are the two most important things, because you may not get what you thought you'd get, but usually when that happens, usually that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you know, it's a good thing you're part of the La Femme Film Festival lineup of 2021, where it's good to have you, and it's good to have your film. I know many are going to be watching this either from the cover for the homes or right there at the Regal Cinema on the 14th, which I always say, like, watch anything that's been shot in 4K on the big screen. So good job. And I know that's a bear to get all that content and then, you know, encode it, and then how much computers, and then get a hard drive crash or whatever.
We had, you know, because we were also editing virtually. So I had 5 editors, and and our lead editor was in Portland, Oregon. I was in New York and Massachusetts, where I am right now. And so we were sending files back and forth, and things weren't uploading, and it was the wrong file. I mean, you know, it was everything that can go wrong when you do something 100% virtually. Yeah. But I have to say that, you know, I'm kind of amazed we did it, but we did.
Well, you did it well. I can't wait to watch it. I know many people are going to want to. Again, get your tickets. It's simple, lafemme.eventive.org/welcome, or just go to lafemme.org and get an all media pass, and you'll be able to see anything and everything. But thank you, Melissa, for spending time with us.
Sure.
And congratulations on the work. And I know you've got some ones up around the corner, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So bring those as well. All right. Thank you. All right. More right after this.
Bye.
Joining us right now is Zoe Martinson, and Zoe has a short which actually is interesting, and I need to see this because I need some in my life. Cupids. What's this about?
Cupids is about these 3 kids who decide to hook up their bus driver for a summer break because they think she'll be lonely without kids in her life.
Okay. This is a good story because obviously it's something that people don't understand often. You know, it says 3 kids worry their beloved school bus driver will be lonely this summer without them. This is one of those feel-good movies, right?
Yeah, it's a comedy. It kind of has an interesting prompt. It's part of the 846 films, which were Tribeca Studios, a P&G, and Saturday Morning initiative to kind of reclaim the time it took for George Floyd's life to change the world. And so they reached out to 4 filmmakers and had us create like kind of positive and uplifting content and just reclaim the time in a different way.
Okay. Now, obviously, in doing this project, you are happy that it's being seen, obviously, on the big screen, and then virtually. But I gotta ask, in the process of it all, were you ever like wondering maybe we could do it bigger, like it should be longer than a short?
Well, this one, it's written to, like, I knew I had to be 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And I knew it was running in a block that had because it premiered at Tribeca Film Festival. So it was running in a block that had 4 other films. So no, it kind of lives in a short place. But I have other content that lives in a much longer place.
I'm just saying, because I feel like that could have like at least a good, 45-minute, I feel like if it were re-edited, you could do a whole 45-minute another category, or would that be too much?
No, I think it could. It definitely could. It definitely could be a movie. It would be like the inciting incident to a movie, and then we'd watch the rest of the movie. But it definitely could.
Okay. Well, I love shorts just like the next person. Sometimes they end and I go, but I want to know more, like these kids. Like, obviously the process, I'm sure the kids are grown up now. When did you shoot? How long did it take?
Oh, no. The kids are not grown up. We only had 12 weeks from when we got the green light to like when we had to deliver the film. And so we shot it in the spring 2021. We finished it in May 2021. So the kids are 8 years old still. I think one just turned 9. But yeah, they're all starting school again this year back in New York. And so
okay. Well, I'm just saying, I kind of want to see more from this because I'm looking at some of the screenshots and I'm thinking, I don't know, you got some more life in this. But I know coronavirus and everything, budgets and everything aren't always the best. But let's talk about something that's very important. Whenever we have things that work for us, how do we make them more work for us, especially when it comes to women in film?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, sorry. How do we make things work for us, especially with more women in film, like what you're doing?
I think you just give opportunity. You have to look maybe a little harder, and just open doors up. And I guarantee you there'll be a bunch of women ready to step through them. Yeah, I agree. Well, Zoe, I want to say thank you again for joining us. Again, we can watch it all at the La Femme Film Festival right here, right now. And I will say thank you for bringing it to the La Femme family. We're going to see more this week, and I look forward to meeting you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll be right back right after this. We are here with Kathy Wu and Nanila Yang, and it is all about Beneath the Banyan Tree. Did I say it right or terribly? What kind of tree is this? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a banyan tree. It's the kind of tree has a lot of roots, and then the roots like draping down from the branches, and then the branch kind of grow under the ground and become root.
Okay. Okay. So when you have that, obviously you got the tree, but I know it's not all about the tree. It's more than that, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a family story. It's a Chinese American immigrant family story, a story about this whole family, a mother taking the grandchild, an immigrant to the US, living under her daughter's roof. They haven't talked to each other for a long time. It's a story about people who reunite and learn to understand each other, living under each other's expectation. That's kind of like the tree, like under the tree. And then it's a story about family and the individuality.
Okay. All right. Now, first of all, that's number one. Awesome. Number two, though, is more awesome when you get a great cast. What do you owe that credit to? Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I have a phenomenal cast in my film. I think the first person I reach out is Kathy right here, and then we kind of connected right away. She did ask me, who is your dream cast for the mother character? And then I told her I wrote the screenplay thinking about Grace, which is my favorite Chinese actress. When I grew up, I watched a lot of her stuff. And then she told me that the actress actually living in LA now, and we're going to film everything in Los Angeles. So Kathy encouraged me many, many times to email her agent. And then that's how the whole thing happened.
So Kathy, you brought it.
I did. Well, like Nani was saying, being able to work with an iconic Chinese actress of all time is going to be on the bucket list. It's on the bucket list for all the filmmakers, I would say. So like Nani was saying, I encouraged her, I checked up on her to make sure, hey, did you check in with Grace? How's it going? What did the agent say? I would definitely say that it was a dream come true for not only myself, for all the cast and crew, and also for my family, because everybody knew who Grace is. And it's such an honor to, be on this film and having the opportunity to work with Nani and also Grace on this project.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to follow this project very closely. I'm looking at right now, Banyan Tree Movie. I see the family here, of course, eating, and I'm already wanting some good food right now. It's already making me hungry. This isn't good for me. But, the story really hits home in a lot of ways, especially with other families. It says, who lets the family down the most? Who let the family down the most?
Yeah, so this is this kind of thing. I set up this whole 4 character, including mother, who is like this authority of the family. That's very important for our culture as Chinese. And then, but at the end of the day, they all represent a part of the family, but they all impose expectation on each other. At the same time, they trying to live under each other's expectation to satisfy other people needs, things like that. So I feel like this dynamic and struggle, in the end, everybody will realize that we can't fulfill what other party wants. So we can only be ourselves and finding who we truly are. So yeah, in a way that everybody is letting someone down in a family.
Well, trust me. I've heard of family issues. I don't want to be in family issues, but capturing family issues, I know, kind of speaks to families, especially to mom-daughter type situations. And I will say this: whenever you have that, it's good to capture it in a story format. The feedback, I know you've already it's already an award-winning film. I'm glad it's part of our list. Is this the kind of film that you're going to continue putting out, or what do you want to do, with Kathy as well? Because it looks like you guys work like a good team, and you kind of team people up together and then make it go next level.
Yeah, we are. Kathy has been very supportive, and this type of story is always what I'm interested in, like looking for individuality and personal identity. So I'm probably gonna work on more stuff like that.
Oh.
I'm not sure about Kathy.
Well, with everything that's been going on in America, it definitely gives a lot of, I guess, motivation to tell our story. I actually
Right.
have a family drama feature film script that I'm working on, that I've been working on since 2017, which actually delves into a father-daughter relationship story. And what you were saying, Aaron, that family dynamic is very complicated. And what's so interesting about our story is, yes, it's about Chinese Americans. It's very culturally specific. However, from all the audience that has seen the movie, whether they are Asian or non-Asians, they felt like they could relate because it's so
Of course.
universal that everybody can relate. And I think that's the kind of story that both me and Nani and many other Asian American filmmakers, or filmmakers, period, wanted to put out there in the world, is to tell authentic stories that have nuanced characters. And I think we are actively trying to change the narrative, one movie at a time, to tell people, hey, besides the martial arts and the great Chinese food, we actually are very nuanced characters, have so many layers, and we just want to tell our stories from an authentic point of view.
Well, I want to see it. And I think one of the films that maybe we can do next is have a multicultural, each family kind of combine. Like, what do they do? There was that one where they kind of combine all different stories all in one. And then you can have an Asian, a Latin thing, because we all need our stories told. Right. Yeah. And then, but there's this like this theme that goes, it's family and family dynamics. Boy, oh boy. Right.
Yeah. Exactly, like every single culture. Even I came to the US, I have Latino friends now, and I have a lot of European friends. Everybody kind of struggle actually the same thing, even though it's so different.
Yeah, exactly. And nobody else wants to understand. I'm like, hello, we're all part of this planet. Let's talk about each other. So Kathy and Nani, thank you so very much for sharing your story, Beneath the Banyan Tree. It's premiering. You can get your tickets right now. It's an international film festival, people. We got people from Australia, we got people from Asia, we got people from the US, we got everybody. Oh, even in the UK and Canada. Come on, people. Get with it. Get your tickets online. You can watch from anywhere. Or you can just, fly in or just check it out here in Los Angeles. We make it easy for everyone. So thank you very much, all of you, for spending time with us.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
We are here with the dynamic trio. It's Jessica Ray, Evan, Alan, G. I'm not going to mess it up for you, bro. And Dr. Kathleen Ball. It is all about the short with a lot of spirit in it. It is obviously something that everybody needs to know. Ghosted. Where are you? Who got ghosted?
Actually, we're a different film. We are Raise Your Hand. I think Kathy was from Ghosted.
You know, let's just start over. Can we start over,
Sure.
Adam? I don't know what happened with my information. Hold on. It's hot in here. It's a heat wave. Hold on.
It's hot here too.
Yeah. Let's start over. I don't want to mess this up. Okay, because I think somebody jumped on in the. Okay. So just go. We are with the team that actually does things, and it is all a feature, which you got to know. It is called Raise Your Hand. And if you don't raise your hand for this film, I'm telling you, you're already missing out. Jessica, Ray, Evan, Alan G, and Jurnes Berchado, thank you for joining us. What was this project like, and who took the majority of everything and said, okay, fine, don't get mad, you need food? I'm just saying.
Well, this is a really big team effort here to make this film happen. It was a, boots on the ground project with no money and a lot of heart. And Jerness came and auditioned for us early on, and she fought for the role, and she's amazing. We were so excited to have her, and she tells a great story about two young friends in the 90s who were struggling to navigate the world and deal with a lot of rough situations and some sexual trauma and whatnot, and how young people can rise above it all.
Well, that's always important. Speaking of which, Ernest, being part of this team and kind of, going to that place, what was that like?
It was really difficult because the story itself is very raw and very deep and very complex. But doing it with Jessica was something that I think having the director be a woman of color, and in a way it was based on something very close to her. So she really was the captain of it all. And I think that I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. It was very difficult, but in a beautiful way, like to get to portray a character that is complex and so beautiful and so deep. And it was a beautiful opportunity.
And done, in such a way that is very telling, so that other ones can obviously kind of come away. I always like about film festivals because I like the fact that it kind of gets people to talk about these stories, because oftentimes people don't want to talk about these stories. Then when they identify, and sometimes you take a family member, you're like, and they kind of respond, you go, oh, something needs to be told here. You need to raise your hand a little, right?
Absolutely. We had that experience with a lot of cast members, crew members, and then a lot of people who've been able to see the film have come up to all of us, including Evan, our producer, had some friends come up and share their stories. So we feel like it is reaching people, and at least the purpose is being served. And now we're just trying to get it out there for everybody else.
Evan obviously brought part of the team. I could tell they appreciate your help more than often.
No, it was an honor for me to be a part of this film to help get it out into the world. It's a very important story, and it's a story that I've known so many people whose stories may never be told, and so to be able to tell this one and be able to just show people that it's not uncommon.
Right.
This has happened to a lot of people, and people try and put that and tuck that away and not talk about it. But the only way to kind of help heal and to help understand why why these things have happened is to tell stories like these.
Yeah, and I'm glad you actually include, at least on your Instagram. I'm looking at your Instagram. I'm going to follow right here, right now. It's Raise Your Hand Film, and it's all right there. You've got something in there that kind of has really good information, and it is basically just to take action and let your voice be heard. Going forward on a project like this, it's great to tell a story, and it's great to have the film. I know you've got other stories with you. But where do you guys see working together on maybe, 3 more?
Well, Jerness and I, talk occasionally. We always have ideas. We want to delve into some magical realism, but also get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to try and get Evan on everything that I do. And I think he'll probably come. Might have to pay him more next time, but it's been such a great pleasure to work with these people. I can't even tell you, and I hope we all continue to keep making stuff.
It's better tacos and Coronas. I'm just saying, right, Evan?
No comment. No. I'm very excited to work again with everybody, especially Jessica, especially Jerness, all of our cast, all of our crew. I mean, we were lucky. We had majority of our crew were women and women of color. Yeah. And it was a pleasure working with all of them and being able to be a part of this. It's just I always knew I grew up in a home with women doing all the jobs in the world. So it was never a big deal to me. I always understood that it can be done. But to be there and actually be doing it with them and be part of something with them was really special. And I really hope to have a chance to do it again.
Yeah, you got a lot of respect, I could tell. And Jerness, obviously, look, you got featured in a really good way, and obviously get to use your acting chops. I can only imagine what's coming up for you in the future. What's going on there?
Yeah, you mean what's gonna happen? What's happening right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was my first film, actually, and after that, a lot of beautiful projects happened. I think for me, it being my first feature taught me so much. And again, I was like with the people that, they were there through that process with me. And I think that after that, it was basically, it just helped me in every way possible. And so now I'm working. I just did Little America, which it gave me an award as a best actress on the I forgot what's the name of it. Imagen Awards. And so
I know them well. Belle Hernandez.
Yes. And then I worked on The Blacklist, Kukui the Boogeyman. And now we have a film coming soon, which is called The Real Housewives of the North Pole. So I've been working pretty consistently ever since. And hopefully, one of our biggest dream is to make a film that goes to the Oscars. And I think that I always feel like Jessica and I will do that one day. So this is the beginning of that.
Isn't that cool to work with the team that can make things happen and move forward? Good job. I say congratulations on that. I'm glad to be one of many that are going to tune in from international waters and then some, and also in person at the Regal LA Live. How many are you joining us in person?
We're bringing everybody we can.
Yes. All right, cool. Good to meet you all, and congratulations on all your work. Looking forward to it. I can already tell people are signing up for the individual screens. I say get the all, but get your individual screen as well. It is available right there at lafemme.eventive.org/welcome, or just go to lafemme.org. All the links are right there. Thank you, team. Great job on what you're doing. Keep moving forward and keep telling good stories. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
We are here with a returning filmmaker, which I know I have seen so much of, and I always am happy to see her. I'm talking about Marlene Sharp, who's a producer and has done so much. I remember talking to you, and I remember you one time not working on something, but you were looking for information, and now here we are. Kohima, an animated music video. Talk to me about this.
Yes. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. A pleasure to be here with you, Aaron, and God bless you for this marathon day that you've taken on. But yes, I'm here representing Kohima, which I had a very small part in promoting, but the real genius behind the whole thing is Sahil Bhargava, who is one of my colleagues at Rainshine Entertainment. And Sahil is the head of adult and teen animation at Rainshine. Along with that, he has a whole host of other talents, all these musical abilities. He's a singer, he plays multiple instruments, he's a composer, he's an audio engineer. And this video represents some of his work during COVID. So he was a machine. He was a music video machine during COVID, and this is one of his projects. So we're very fortunate to be accepted into La Femme.
Well, I love it. You're the type of producer that puts all her energy in getting everything done. Sometimes that in itself could be a bit of a challenge. You really have to believe in the project and then keep moving it forward. I always know, Marlene, you always bring very interesting stuff to the fore. Being part of La Femme this year, what's so different about this year than in past years, would you say?
Well, this whole virtual aspect of it is certainly different and maybe a game changer. Maybe it'll become commonplace in years to come. I've been involved with La Femme, as you have for many years, and it's the first time there's really been a hybrid festival in this way. There have been some streaming components like your interviews, you're on the red carpet interviews and so forth, but this is really a big shift. So I think it's great because it allows more people to participate in the festivities.
Yeah, I believe it's not only a game changer, it is one of which, you have so many seats in any given theater, right? Especially now with
Right.
coronavirus. But having said that, once you kind of, open up to the masses, international waters, especially online, and you do so in a safe way, like Leslie and the entire team have, it really brings it to another degree of saying, hey, check it out. No, I'm in Florida. I can't make it. Here's the link.
Yeah.
Come watch it. Join all of us, right?
Makes it more inclusive.
Yeah, and then some, and then gets the conversation started, for the next thing. So what's next for you, Marlene?
Well, I hope there's more collaboration with Deborah Gilels, because she actually worked on Kohima with Sahil and Rainshine Entertainment and myself. Deborah and I are neighbors as well as frequent collaborators, and we were fortunate to have her on board as the publicist for this short film, and she did an amazing job. And so that's my wish, is that Deborah and I can have many more collaborations and hopefully involve our dogs in them. Ella and Blanche are also besties. So that's our secret dream. But also with Rainshine Entertainment, there's some really exciting stuff that we will be able to announce very soon. One thing that's of particular interest of mine, we are really amping up our podcast division outside of India. Rainshine is a company with headquarters in Mumbai, and then there's a small team of us that works out of Los Angeles. And in India, they've been super successful with podcasts. And in the next, I'd say, year, you'll see and hear a lot of podcast news from Rainshine. So that's very exciting to me, because I'm a podcast junkie.
I've been hearing that the numbers are pretty high now. A lot of people are trying to level up their knowledge, and sometimes in podcasts you can do those as well as get entertained at the same time. So whatever you are gonna attach yourself to, and I know Deborah, we just had a meal about 6 weeks ago, and I'll tell you, when you team up with the right people, it makes things happen, especially with Femme, right?
Yeah, she's the whole reason why I'm involved with Femme. She recruited me years ago, and I haven't left. I've just stuck around. So
yeah,
it's been beautiful.
And I want to say, I think probably because I got about 8 years ago, I want to say, involved. And I'm so glad to see it evolve in this way, because I just know it's going to get bigger and bigger. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be like, can who? What? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Of course. And another thing that I will plug, since I'm here, is the workshop that I'm moderating, the pitching workshop on Saturday.
I'm so glad you're talking about that. Yeah.
The 16th. Yeah. So that's another thing that Deborah had recruited me for, that I've been involved with for a number of years. But this is the first year that we're doing a live stream as well as the in person at the Regal Cinemas. So it'll allow a whole lot more people to be able to pitch, because we have people pitching in the workshops, as well as people who want to just take in the information and learn about pitching. So that's
perfect.
That's pretty exciting.
And that's always fun to see the pitches too. Sometimes, I like to go like, right. So I'm glad that's going to be broadcast this year, because sometimes I can't make it always like in person because I'm looking for parking or something. But the fact that I could do that this year, I'm like, yes, I could be because I have a morning show. So it's hard for me to make it. And I'm like, LA traffic. So I'm happy. I got this.
This is some of the best improv that you will see in LA, I think. Because it's improv theater from all over the place. It's people who are accustomed to pitching a lot, and newbies, and everything in between. And it is quite a production. So I highly recommend it.
All right, Marlene Sharp. Again, go check it out. The Kohima is an animated music video. She does a lot of stuff and then some. I can guarantee you're going to learn a lot, especially on the Pitch Fest section of what was going to be a pretty well-attended one, I guarantee you. Thank you very much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Aaron. Take care. See you at the festival.
Get your tickets. Yeah, lovefemme.org right now.
Bye.
Thank you.
We are here with Jason Head and Ashley Bracken. I am so glad to have a very good documentary being featured with us. It is called Fighting for Daybreak. Take us into this, Ashley. What is the fight, and why is it that we need to kind of get involved?
I mean, first of all, thank you so much for hosting us. It's awesome to be here, and we're so excited to be a part of the festival. So I just wanted to say that first and foremost. Secondly, Fighting for Daybreak is just this really heartwarming, hopeful documentary that I feel like the world needs to see right now. It's kind of like Burning Man goes to Oklahoma, and then you get to go on this beautiful ride with us, where we originally set out to just actually film the festival. And then we kind of just started to get involved with the crew and the festival financier, Darren Bond, and his life and how hard it is to put on something like this. And then on top of that, we get hit by like a tornado the day before we're supposed to throw this festival.
Oh, no.
So you kind of get to see the inner workings of a music festival. But it turns out it really, really hopeful, and kind of just leaves you feeling hopeful for the world, honestly, with all the stuff that we've been going through. So Jason and I got to work on this project together through COVID, and it's been an adventure.
Jason, you look like, please, let's not do this again with the tornado. But, I'm sure you had a level head there.
Yeah, so I'm primarily known for disaster documentaries.
Got it.
And I thought it was weird. Somebody asked me to do a documentary about a festival. So it ended up turning into a disaster documentary, but ended up having this cool hope twist on it. When the tornado and the rain, 9 inches of rain showed up, there was about 2,000 people camping outside. Wow. So yeah, it was intense.
Okay, well, you obviously, sometimes have to kind of make things happen no matter what. I saw,
yeah.
I saw a film, I forgot what it was called, but it almost didn't come out, and it got delayed significantly. So not having a more delayed film, especially because I know with COVID, everybody's like pushing out their projects. What's it like to have it kind of get featured, especially with a host of other good films?
Oh, I mean, I think with any film, right, you shoot it, which is a feat in itself, and then you go into post-production, and that's a whole nother journey that can be extremely emotional, especially when our teams were so divided. So we're trying to figure out how to keep moving along, though we don't get to be together. So then, when we got that final cut, for me, I was elated, and the fact that it turned out the way that it did, I couldn't be more proud of it. And I couldn't be more proud of Jason really being the captain and steering the ship in terms of the storytelling and making sure that the world got to see this crazy 3-day festival that we got to live in the mud.
Yeah, well, it sounds like Jason's ready to live in the mud at any time. Jason, is there ever a direction that you think it's going and you go, I need to bring you guys a little bit more perspective? Does that ever happen in the process?
Yes. Documentaries are one of those things where, you shoot the thing and then at the end of the film, you write the script.
Right.
Which is, awkward in itself. But that's really where Ashley came in. I was constantly leaning on her. I know I told the story, but I always believe you should have somebody watching your six, and Ashley was that, for this whole production for all of us. So, yes, absolutely. You have to have somebody to come in and say, you validate whether you're doing this right, especially when there's so much going on and there's chaos. And I mean, we were a skeleton crew. I mean, there was 2 camera guys, Ashley and me, and we had a PA, and we were just out there doing it. We didn't know how it was going to happen. We didn't know if it was ever going to stop raining, if people were going to, actually pull this festival off. So, yeah, it was us leaning on each other constantly.
I got it. So when Ashley asks for a favor, just run the other way, right?
Oh, you picked up on that so quickly.
I'm like, yikes! You know what? I'm busy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. We gotta have the forces of nature not follow you two. I seriously. No, you guys are doing great. I'm happy that it got done well. I'm looking at the poster. It looks amazing. For those that are gonna go get the tickets, what are you hoping they come away with this?
Honestly, as a music lover, that's probably the thing that I missed the most during COVID, along with connecting with people. And I feel like when you watch the film, you just get to experience those two things. Like you get to experience music and you get to experience the beauty of human connection. And that's kind of what I hope people walk away from the film, just feeling good.
Well, Fighting for Daybreak is available. Jason survived, thank God, and evidently the team did too. Disaster insurance, look it up. No, I'm just joking. We hope you guys bring more stuff to us, and I can't wait to see it. Again, get your tickets right now, lafemme.eventive.org/welcome, and you can join the rest of us all this week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Be safe. We are here with Cecilia, and Cecilia is rocking it with the wait, what's October 3rd? What's going on here? Why are we doing skeletons already?
Because my film is a horror movie, so it's like
Okay, I get it. Well, Tinder Tango is what it's all about, and I will say there's a lot of tango and there's a little Tinder, or is it like a firebrush? What's going on?
So it's basically a first date that it turns out to be a hell of a date. Two tango aficionados meet for the first time, and then it turns out to be like a hell of a date. So basically, it's a very short, like very fast-paced, funny, with a like surprising reveal, little short, and it's a little bit of Tinder and a lot of tango.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. Look, this is the type of thing that I always say, and I warn people on this. I really do. Usually, ladies got to be careful, but sometimes the men have to be careful. Tinder, right? I mean, that's the whole, do you swipe right? Do you swipe left? And then what's going to happen next? So evidently in this, you go to the house. Why would you go to the house? Oh, I get it. Thriller.
So the original idea came because I am a YouTuber, and on the feed you always get like suggestions, and it was always like a horror like tale about what went wrong during the date, and I'm like, dude, this could be like a TV series or something. And so I made a compilation, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be like the worst case scenario. And I also combine, well, 4 of my passions, which are the supernatural, because I'm Mexican. I love film noir. I love 1940s music, and I love tango. So what I did is, and that dancer it's an amazing dancer. He's the key dancer of Bocelli, Andreas Bocelli. So he dedicated me like only 10 hours to come up with the choreography, and it turned out to be good. But it basically is like it's kind of a sprinkle of magic realism, because I grew up reading magic realism like Carlos Fuentes, Cortázar, etc. And I also read a lot of French erotic novels, because, I wrote an erotic novel. So it's like erotism and surrealism and 1940s music and tango. And at the end, it's it's funny, because I'm not trying to preach, don't go on Tinder. Not. Of course not. Like, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, I could see grandma saying, mija, go watch Cecilia Robles's Tinder Tango and get off those date apps, because I saw it and I think you need to see it. So, right? The whole family can see this, or just some of the family.
Yes, because I mean, there is more male nudity than female nudity. You can see my actor's abs, and that's the most skin that you would see. And honestly,
there you go.
It's worth it. He is damn hot. So as a female director, I wanted to pay homage to the male anatomy. So
I don't know the feeling. But I do know you did it well. It is done well. I think at the end of it, do ladies or men ever say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't go on Tinder. Or do they go, you know what? Why not be spicy, but maybe not, the thriller at the end? Because does he go to prison? Or does anyone go to prison?
No, but the question at the end would be like, would you go on a date with that kind of ending? I always get that question on festivals, and I'm like, you know what? Yes, because
you like danger.
You're dating the ultimate hotness of possible, partner. So, I mean, it's a fun thing. It's kind of like
You're like, look, I tried it 8 times. Okay, don't judge. Cecilia, good job. I will say this: keep going with it. You obviously are onto something really good. I know. Whenever you combine yourself with a lot of other filmmakers and women filmmakers at that, sometimes there are people that you can trust and then know that you can include in your next features. I'm sure you have quite a crew that wants to help you on the next one. Is that right?
Well, to be honest, I did most of the. I wrote, directed, produced, acted, edited, and color corrected. So we were very, very little people. We were only the cameraman, my actor, me, and the PA. So it was really a small crew, and I would probably work with other people for other projects. It depends on their expertise in terms of camera. I really wanted to give it a film noir kind of look, so that's why I searched for this DP. But in the future, I might look for something else, so I might look for something else. I always change, to be honest, depending on their expertise.
Well, I love the way it was shot. I'm not going to lie. I like it a lot. So I'm just saying, I may not have the abs, but I would be willing to go on that date to go, guys, this is why you don't go on Tinder dates. You got to have the, the other perspective. You know what I mean?
It's Tinder. I mean,
you could play the crazy lady and I could be like, right? We can write that. Yeah. Just saying. No, keep it up. No, you're doing good. Great job. And great job getting this into the film festival. I really can't wait to see it. It does look really amazing. So again, mijas and ladies, careful. Don't swipe right. Don't need if you do, take Cecilia. She knows what to do. Seriously. Double date that stuff. All right, Cecilia, thank you for spending time with us. More when we get back. We are here with Dr. Kathleen Ball, and Doctor, you've got something that I just know I'm going to want to watch. Brazilian Templar Mystery is something, and I believe this is your first feature film. I got to ask, whenever I hear about the Templars or anything Brazilian, I go, whoa, is this based on like true information and stories? What's going on?
Yes, it's based on a discovery that I made in 2015. I was hiking with a girlfriend, and we were just hiking through the waterfall area, Chapada National Forest area. It's a protected area in Brazil, up in outside of Valparaíso, Moinho, and that area up there. Anyway, a friend sent us over to the property next door and to a guide, and the guide took us down to a crystal vein that goes through the property. And it was really, really hot. At that point, we had been hiking about 6 or 7 kilometers, and he said, well, there's a little area where there's some trees and there's a little cave and whatnot. And if you want to go down there, we can just sit there and have some water and cool off. So it was another kilometer or two down, straight down a hill and over into this area and in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, and he lifted up the branches, and the next thing I know, I see a Templar cross above the cave. And it looked very much like a cross that I had seen in Dome, France in 2009. So I was just fascinated with it. And I interviewed him, and I snapped a bunch of photos and went home and came back to the U.S. And 9 days later, my house burned down. So I didn't have much chance to pursue it at that point. And then 6 weeks later, I had a liver transplant. So it gave me a year to recover and also figure out what I was going to do.
Oh, wow.
So when my first trip back, I went back in 2017, and I was wanting to film the rediscovery of the cave. And there was a huge fire, so I wasn't able to do it. We had to go back in 2018, and that's when we actually went in and were able. And I had to all the terrain had changed. It was a mess. We were in the middle of nowhere, middle of 800 hectares, which are each hectare is about 2.5 acres. And I had to try to find this cave again in the middle of no markers. Everything had been burned, and I did find it after 3 days of hiking. I did actually find it. We photographed it, and since then, I've been able to interview a few experts and historians in Brazil and in Portugal, and Freddie Silva, of course, and we're now starting to put together what I found this time in the cave, and we're starting to actually, my dates of 1300s look very realistic at this point.
Oh, good. Well, you know what? Okay. And there's so much mystery about the Templars, of course. And then the backstory. How far back do the Templars go? Is it true you found a lot of connections maybe with like old Israel?
Well, yes, I have actually done a whole lot of research, and there's a strong possibility that the Templars that were created in 1099, well, actually 1118, where they were, they were canon by the church, actually accepted them at that point. But there's also some research that I uncovered that they may have had some family connections to a group of knights that were created during the time of Zerubbabel, which was the second building, the rebuilding of the temple in 635 BC. So, there's some strong indications that there may be some connections with these family members. In which case, it would really explain how they ended up going into, Jerusalem during the Crusades and going right into the Temple Mount, going right in. Now have evidence that they did excavate those tunnels.
Wow. You know what? This is the type of history I need to kind of get my teeth on. I recently discovered something about the Templars, and I thought, I wonder if this is true. It goes so far back, and it's still a hidden mystery. I'm wondering if those fires were set by the ones that didn't want this information out, or by the ones that did want this information out. Like, what's going on?
We don't know. The fires in Brazil. Are you talking about the fires in Brazil?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fires in Brazil, they happen every year. The older people, the indigenous people, they still do the slash and burn idea. So these are controlled burns that happen, and they sometimes get out of control. And that's what happened in 2017. The fire actually got out of control, and it took over a whole lot more territory. It actually came in, threatened the town of Valparaíso, and in the Pousada where I was staying, which a Pousada is a motel or hotel, and it actually came right up to one of the walls of the Pousada where I was staying at that time.
I'm just saying, you had so many disasters before, during, and I'm like, man, if I ever discover a Templar, I'm not going to put it out there just yet. But I'm glad you did, and I'm glad we get to see it. But I think people need to see it so that you could get your, since then, no house is burning, is my point.
Yeah, my house burned down 9 days after I got back to the U.S.
Yeah, that's my point.
Well, it was a butte fire in Northern California. And
right.
we lost our home in that. So, but what it did is it rerouted me. I had been an art professor for many, many years, and I couldn't go back. All my curriculum, everything was burned. And after the liver transplant, I lost some hearing, so I wasn't able to go back to lecture anymore. So I had to decide what I wanted to do, and I just decided I wanted to do a film about this discovery. And that just turned out. I have a wonderful group, and I really want to mention my team. Next NEXT from Unusual Accomplishments is our production company, and Neil Cabana is my co-producer. Who they've just been an absolute fabulous team, and Freddie Silva, and I've just had my my photographer, Isaac Carter. We've had a fabulous team. We have an amazing team.
Well, obviously, you fought every little disaster that you could possibly do to get this out to us. It's been a journey, but I'm glad you did, because it's one of the ones I'm going to say, you know what, you do not know what she had to go through just to get this made. So I'm glad it's on the final screen here at La Femme Film Festival 2021. I can't wait to see on the big one, because I'm going to want to know some information about this. I'm probably going to pick your head too when I meet you.
Yeah, well, I just got back from Brazil 2 weeks ago, and I'm filming the second segment. So we're going to have a part 2.
Perfect.
Of this, and we're actually going into the cave this time. Ooh. And we're filming inside the cave. I talk about what the cave is, and we have some really interesting information that comes from the Amazonian tribes out there, the Kalunga people. There's a lot more going on with this next film. So
yeah, the Templars are world renowned. That's what I know. So they are everywhere. But stay safe out there. Okay, thank you very much for the information, and we look forward to seeing this and more right here on the 2021 version of La Femme Film Festival. Be right back right after this.
Thank you so much.
That's right. It is that time. I'm telling you, we are joined by an amazing team. Zoe Zhao and Shay Song. You both obviously are joined by a bigger team behind the scenes. We can't interview everybody, but the Bright Fire. This is an interesting story, but how did you two meet first to even tell it?
Hi everyone, I'm the writer-director for The Bright Fire. The Bright Fire is a short film about two young cousins changing friendship under the influence of their unstable families. So it's a story talking about how parents' behaviors can affect children's behaviors and the possible consequences it brings. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not exactly a film made for children. Because in the film, children did some bad things, so it's supposed to be for adults.
No, I get that. Sometimes it's hard to tell these type of stories, but it's necessary, right? And you actually did this in a really good way. I'm looking at the trailer right now on your information, ZOUOOE. The story, though, obviously necessary. Jay, can you speak on that?
Yes, so we met before when we did another short film, and this one I got really connected because this film really goes deep into the character, and it's a character fighting with a lot of family issues nowadays in the whole world, like the family violence and how they affect children, and it's kind of what we are facing in a lot of families right now, and I feel it's necessary to get into the story and the character and show it to the people.
Well, you're doing it right, both of you. Obviously, you're tackling something very adult, which shouldn't happen at all. This is one I want to say the second one that we talked about this day, which features exactly that, the abuse that can happen in a home. Zoe, this type of story. Why was this so necessary to get out there?
It's a pretty personal story for me. And because when I think about the first memory in my life, which is the major inspiration of this film, I think about a relationship I once had with my cousin. And it was the most innocent and sincerest friendship I once had, but we split it for many years and we don't know what to say to each other anymore. And I started thinking about the reason behind it. So I started thinking about our families. And it's not exactly our fault to don't talk to each other, but there's a bigger context behind it. So yeah, this personal though.
Well, and I'm glad you're doing that because it gets people talking. I've come from conversations where sometimes parents don't know if their children are telling the truth or not. Sometimes the children kind of go backwards. Sometimes things just get locked up in their minds and it doesn't come out for way later until suddenly the family starts talking. They go, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did this happen? Is that kind of, what you're seeing when people actually see this film?
Can you speak for that, Jim?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, for when people see this film, we got actually different reactions for the film itself. Some people feel very connected. They feel like everything behind the characters, like Zoe just mentioned, they're like different types of their characters to affecting children when they are young. Like even they care about children, but the way they care children also matters. And also some people feels like it's quite common for them. They don't feel it's such a drama or something. So it's really depends on people's experience, and I think that's a film should be, because it can be related to different people in different ways.
Got it. Well, I think it's going to definitely start the conversation anyway. I say I'm glad we can actually view it. It's shot very well. I got to ask about production. Well, how was that? And are you ready to do like 4 more?
I'm sorry?
Oh, are you ready to do like more projects together?
Yeah. I'm doing another short films, and I'm going to be shooting it next year. And yeah, it's also a personal story.
Okay, and I'm glad you're doing these things. I got to ask, where are you watching or tuning in from right now?
I'm sorry?
Where are you located?
I'm in China now.
Yeah, I'm in California.
See, I love this. I love that we got like the China, we got, US, because I could tell like it's like more daylight there, right, Zoe? So
yeah, this morning, and I actually shoot a film in China, and we edited online.
Yeah, we work remotely the whole post-production session.
Yeah, I love it. The reason I say that is, we live in an interconnected world, so I'm kind of like thinking, okay, I got some thoughts about an Asian film in like a South Brazil idea, and then maybe like in Australia, and then a UK, and then a US. We could all do our thing and then combine it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel it's a very common topic for all of the world, so you can find a lot of details that people will get connected in, even they are not in China or in the United States. So
okay, well, I think La Femme's bringing the international waters all together. We are blurring the lines of borders, and we're just saying, you know what, let's watch all these films all around the world, wherever you have an internet, and you go get your tickets right now. It's available at lafemme.eventive.org/welcome. Thank you very much, both of you and the entire team that brought this story forward. I can't wait to have the discussions from it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, more right after this. We are joined by Brazen Hussies, the entire team, Philippa Campi, Catherine Dreyer, and Andrea Foxworthy. Okay, I'm going to say Brazen Hussies. Am I saying that correct, first of all?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, because I know I'm going to get like slapped when I say hussy. But for those that don't know the story, can you share with us it?
Yeah, for sure. So Brazen Hussies is the story of the women's liberation movement in Australia. And brazen hussy was a term often used to put down women. And it was something that was reclaimed by the movement.
Okay,
So it's not really as powerful as it used to be. It's not really an insult. It's kind of something I'm proud to call myself.
Got it. In other words, I should be careful still using the word, like just out of nowhere.
Say it with a bit of sass, I think.
Got it. Okay. All right. Can you help me, Andrea? How should I say it? I think you do it well.
Brazen Hussies.
See, that's how you say it. It's, okay. Okay. Look, coming together on this project, obviously, you pulled a great team together. It looks like you guys are tuning in from everywhere around the world. Another production like that. What's that like, bringing all of your talents? And who would you say you've learned from the most of each other?
You go, Catherine. Catherine started this project many years ago now, having worked on a film called She's Beautiful When She's Angry, which she worked on in New York, which is the history of the women's liberation movement in America, and then came back to Australia and wondered, like, how come we didn't know our own history? So got in touch with networked with a few producers here in Melbourne where we all live, and ended up working with Andrea and I as producers on the project. So that was a long time ago, and it's been a long time in the making, but mostly due to Catherine's incredible research as well, which she did for years and years, kind of covering the entire history of the Australian women's movement here.
Well, I've been seeing a theme today. I'm not going to lie. There's a situation happening when it comes to which is a fight, I think, over like 100 years or so of women and men, and I'm like, why are we fighting about this? Because the reality is the women make things happen. I mean, for everything. And in this, I feel like it's still a topic. It's like, why are we having this topic? Shouldn't we have been over this a billion years ago, technically? But, what is it that's so important for people to know that isn't over?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like why is this still an issue? Or even a recent issue. So I was telling a 23-year-old young man the other day about the film, and he was rather interested. He was like, oh, well, what were women dealing with back then? And this is 50 years ago. Women couldn't drink in public bars. Like a bar that said public was not welcome, like did not welcome women. It was actually illegal in Queensland. So it's written in the law, but it was just the general rule that women were not welcome. They had to drink in ladies' lounges where the drinks cost more, even though they got less pay than men. So the expectation was that women should be at home looking after their children and not drinking in bars.
But now you bring in the women and now you bring in the men, right? Like, it doesn't work that way, people. It just doesn't. Andrea, you look, I understand you know the history. You obviously brought a perspective that I think a lot of people don't have. Can you share that?
Well, I think there was a lot of things we learned along the way in making the film. For instance, there was a rule where women, once they were married, they had to quit their jobs. And there were a lot of rules happening in the period of that this film covers that women today men and women today find really hard to believe. Just the limits on the freedoms that women had in that era. So I think it's really good. Catherine's made this beautiful film that encourages everyone to reflect on that and just think about where we are today.
Well, I can't wait to see the next film, but obviously the story has to be told now of this film for those that are kind of going, okay, how am I going to learn? What am I going to learn? I'm a very visual person, and I love listening to stuff, but when I see certain clips in there, I go, are you kidding me? I love to bring awareness to people. So are there any clips in there that were kind of debatable? Do we keep them in? Do we not? But they actually change the story in a way that help people see it for what it is.
I don't know if there was anything we're like, oh, it's, do we keep this in? It's too controversial. I mean, we were looking for that kind of thing. We wanted to show people how different the environment was for women 50 years ago, because we can often sometimes feel like, oh, not enough has changed.
Yeah.
But we found some incredible footage of women staging a protest by going into a men-only bar and getting kicked out, getting arrested by the police, getting sort of punched by men. It was really shocking, the violence.
See, there it is right there. Yeah, you're used to seeing it. I would be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's
And
incredible.
that was just for trying to participate in daily life, like men were free to do. So it's quite astounding.
This is the type of thing that I say, we're not far. Look, with Afghanistan, I hate to keep bringing Afghanistan up. I do, but there are countries where women are completely pushed down, leveled down, and then brazenly abused, in many different ways. These type of stories have to be told, and they have to be told in a big way. And I'm glad that this year it's so international and it could be seen by anybody. But I would say this, if there was a film that I think needs to be seen and kind of be reminded for the world to move forward in a good way, it would be films like these. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's got a lot to do with what we tried to do too, which was to show that the women at this time were just ordinary people. They weren't extraordinary. They were just women living lives in suburban Australia, really, most of them. And they kind of got together and acted together as one. So I think it's really about how change can happen if people band together. And that's still very valid here and now as well.
That's true.
Well, it's going to be a very charged discussion. I can tell you right now, you can get your tickets. It's simple, lafemme.eventive.org/welcome. It is simple. You do it right now. Get this along with others. I say see all the virtual ones if you're not local. But if you're in LA, come in. And I'm going to see any of you. You're all staying like everywhere where you're at.
We're all locked down in Melbourne at the moment, unfortunately, so I can't join you there. But thanks for having us at the festival.
Dang it. I'm just, what, next year we're coming to Australia. I'm telling you. All right. Well, you know what? We look forward to connecting virtually anyway. It's like we're in the same room. So I know we're going to see more of all of you. Continue doing the projects you're doing. You have to get that information out, and you got to do so in a big way. You never know who's watching. Hopefully some government officials say, you know what are we doing? Especially those in India, because there's too much abuse over there. And they kind of just throw it away. I'm like, we are on this interconnected continent. Do I need to go over there and change things?
I think there's people there doing work too. It's just about staying connected.
That's my point. You got to stay connected.
Exactly.
Yeah, and fight that fight. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's called humanity, people.
Yeah.
My God, there are mothers for crying out loud. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
We're here with Seo Jong-yoon, Out of Breath. It is a short film. It's right here at the La Femme Film Festival 2021. Seo Jong, you obviously pretty excited. I can imagine being able to join us this year. Out of breath, though, I'm obviously going to ask the obvious question. Am I going to be out of breath when I see this film?
It's a short fiction film with only music and dance without lines. So you should probably watch it with just no thoughts. And I hope you can enjoy the flow, and you should be like over breathtaking in some time.
Well, I will say this. I'm looking at your Instagram, which is Sozeske, and I'm looking this up, and it's called Out of Breath Again. It's very beautifully shot. How long did this take to do?
Actually, I made this film as a graduation film last year. So it took about 1 year with my wonderful friends. Yeah.
Okay. And so doing, it's very gorgeously shot, by the way. It reminds me of like Glamour and then some. It's all done really beautiful. Are you going to do more of these?
Yeah, because now I'm working as a freelancer videographer and a director. I love making films and I love making some new stuffs. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for you. Look, I understand, again, this International Film Festival is one that you entered this into, and I can't wait to watch it. But I will say this. You are surrounded by people that do. Do you ever wonder if there'll be a time where you can just make any feature-length film like back to back? Like, what's your dream for the future in the world of cinema?
Oh, it's a very hard question because I can't expect what will happen tomorrow. So about future, but I expect to first show my films like these wonderful festivals and eventually I want to be a film director, and actually we're writing more scenarios with my friends, so
Good.
yeah.
Well, you shot this. It looks beautiful. I will ask, what type of equipment do you use over there?
About Out of Breath, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
We used just cameras, Red Raven and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying when you get a Red Raven or anything like that, you got to keep pushing out good content. Now, storytelling is always important, but sometimes it's the visual component. Are you more visual, or are you more story, or is it a matter of finding the perfect pair?
Oh, I think I was a more like visual kind of person. I love because I studied an entertainment design. So yeah, I'm a designer eventually.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
But I really try to express some kind of stories I want to tell. I want to talk with films. It means a lot to me. So yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be done really good. I cannot wait for the next feature that you're about to come into, because I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot of people watching, and they're going to say, who is that director? The way she shoots is so beautiful and gorgeous. I'm already looking at some of the stills, and I'm like, okay, I want to know more. So I will say, keep doing what you're doing. Make it great. And can I ask you, before we let you go, what part of the world are you in?
Oh, I'm from South Korea. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I've been wanting to visit Korea. I want to go like to all Asia places first. Let's see, where will I go first? I don't know, but if I were to go to South Korea, what part of town should I go first?
You should come to Seoul because I am here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a very good city. You can see a lot of things, and there are many wonderful places.
Well, if you ever need an American in your film, I'm already there, because I really want to go to Korea. I love the people of Korea. I've never met a Korean I didn't like, seriously. So keep doing what you're doing, rock it, and I'm glad we get to meet in the middle of the online world of digital entertainment. So thank you very much for spending time with us, and congratulations on all you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You got to get your tickets. It's really simple. You do it right now. lafemme.eventive.org/welcome, or just go to lafemme.org. You'll get all the information. It's the 2021. Thank you very much for spending time with us here And I will say before we go, really quick, can you say why people need to like sign up right now, Sojung?
Because I watched the interviews before. There are so much wonderful films, and there are amazing directors, female directors. So get the tickets.
There it is. Get the tickets
Yeah.
right now. Okay, make it a great day, everyone. And remember, life is worth living. Live it well and get entertained in the process. Bye-bye.